I was looking for a chronograph, a new one to use indoors. The chronograph I had been using was an older PACT PC2, which, like most conventional chronographs, doesn't work well under fluorescent light or indoors. They work best outdoors, natural light. So the recent technology, infrared sky screens, that work indoors under most conditions, is the way I wanted to go. So got this here PACT Professional Chronograph XP with the infrared sky screen options. I'll open up the box there in a little while. I thought I'd give you my impressions of it. I was looking for a review as I was trying to make my decision which one to get. And there was a few written reviews, nothing really in video format where you could see a little more what was going on. So I thought I'd give this a shot. So I ordered it directly from PACT's website, and filled out the order form right online. Had a little spot to add comments, so I threw in the comments that I'd like to have the tracking information, and would they kindly send me a soft copy of the manual so I could start going through it before I got it. I never got a response to those two questions, the tracking information or a soft copy of the manual. It took about 2 weeks, for at least 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks, for the thing to finally show up at the door. It just showed up one day. I did get an automated response when I placed the order that the order was received and all that, but no personal response, let's say. So in any case, I got it. Arrived fine. Nothing was broken. Everything was there. This is the manual it came with. It's about 12 pages, plus there's one more page in the file cabinet there for the infrared sky screens. Manual is, if you do find some of the written reviews or comments in forums, generally everyone says the manual is kind of vague, and I would agree with that. Maybe vague isn't the best word, but it's not very detailed, let's say. As a quick example, if I can find it here, as far as setting the thing up, as a quick example here, it says step 12 of setting the thing up says you can play with, you can play around with the buttons and figure most of the rest out. That's the sort of example you get from the manual. I'll illustrate a little bit more about that when we go into pulling the data, downloading the data onto a PC. So when I got the thing home, when it arrived here, took it out of the box and I fired some rubber bands through it here in the basement under fluorescent light, even in the dark, and the thing was picking them up, so I was pretty pleased in that regard. I took it to the range, which I'll show you in a little bit here. Some footage when we went to the range. Went to the range with pretty good level of confidence, but when we got to the range we had some problems. It may have been due to our own fault, I don't know. I wasn't picking up any shots, and the long and the short of it is I think it was the act of removing the battery and reinserting it, kind of giving it a hard reset. That seemed to do the trick. Again, maybe we did something wrong, but that was the biggest grief we had. Another thing I could say about it is you can turn on the unit without the sky screens plugged into it even, and it'll tell you it's ready to fire. even with no sky screens. In other words, it does not know when the sky screens are not connected to it. At least it appears to not know. Also, the infrared sky screens come with their own separate power supply that you'll need to plug into a 120 volt outlet. You may need an extension cord when you go to the range. Keep that in mind. The chronograph itself runs on a 9 volt battery, and that's the only option. The infrared sky screens come with a power supply you need to plug into 120 volts. And along those lines, when you plug in the sky screens, there's no real indication to tell you that the sky screens are active. You know, the infrared source is on, let's say. There's no indicator on the power supply to tell you it's healthy, and nothing on the sky screens to tell you they're being powered either. So it makes troubleshooting a little more challenging when the thing's not working. So let's take it out of the box and see what we got in there. Okay, the box, this is not how it was originally packaged per se, exactly when I opened it, but it's pretty close to this. I ordered the optional bag to put the chronograph in. It's not bad. Padding is light, but offers better protection than nothing. I don't store it with the battery in it, just I don't want any problems with it leaking. But there's not much we're going to do with it indoors. I can put the battery in it just so you can see it power up. Power comes on automatically. I already fired some strings at the range, that's why I said using string 29. But there's all kinds of things this will do. According to the buttons there, I've only been using it for the basic functions. Shut it off. Save the battery. So here's the chronograph. You get the sky screens, 2 pairs. These are the sides. Comes with 2 sets of tops. That's why I got 4 of these here. These 2 have reflector tape in them. These 2 do not. These are for outdoor use. And actually, when you get this, the tape is not applied. That is part of the assembly that you need to do. That cannot be done at the factory for whatever reason. That's an extra roll of paper. I got this at Staples. It's thermal printer tape. Okay, we got the actual sky screens here, the brains of the operation. These slip onto this little bar here. And notice there's a little detent there. That little knob lines up with the detents, so you get the spacing just right. That's critical to accuracy. So those both fit onto this bar. This little piece here is part of the tripod that the video camera is sitting on right now. I'm not going to do a review on that. It's a tripod I got from Amazon for about 40 bucks. Wish I'd spent a little bit more money than that. It's a little wobbly, but it works. It works. I'm not going to get another one. So the instructions aren't too detailed about assembling these things. Basically, what I do is just clip the side pieces into the top piece. And then insert the sides into the sky screen. I'm calling it sky screen. I think the whole assembly is called the sky screen. It does just kind of slip into a little groove there. Now see, here's one problem wasn't sure quite what to do about. What this little tab here does, I'm really not sure. I didn't know if it had to go inside or outside when I was putting this together, but it seems to go together better if you put it to the inside. Otherwise it just kind of all jams up and doesn't go together. But there's one put together. Again, that slips onto that bar. You got two of them. They got these here phono plugs. Get plugged into the back of the chronograph. You got a start and a stop. The start, of course, is the first screen that your projectile will pass through. And the manual states to have the red side of the screen downrange, for whatever reason. Again, this is the infrared version. So not much else in here. Okay, I'm going to pack this back up and talk to you one more time before we go to the range.